Good morning, boys and girls. This is Miss Bomar, and I'm back again with you today for our next reading lesson. So, yesterday we stopped on page 7, and we are reading the book Community Government. So, yesterday we talked a lot about what community meant and what government is, and we talked about voting and elections and things like that. And so today we're going to be learning about more community departments. So more important city and community departments that are important and help our community in many different ways. And they are a part of our community government. Okay, so today we're going to start our reading, and it has a bolded section. Okay, so like we talked about yesterday, a bolded section at the top. So these bolded sections tell us a lot about what we're going to be reading in this section of our story. So when we have sections like these bolded headings in our stories, it tells us what that part of the story is going to be talking about and what it's mostly going to be about. So that sounds a lot to me like main idea. Yes. And we have talked a lot about main idea, and I know that main idea is what a story is mostly about. Okay. And so the same thing with our story is these headings. Okay, so we have these bolded headings that are throughout this story that we are reading that tell us what this section of the story is going to mostly be about. So if I looked at just this section is called More Community Departments. So that tells me that this section of the story is going to mostly be about the community department. So the different departments inside of a city or community. So when we have these bold headings in a story, they really help us figure out the main idea for our story. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be breaking down our story into these sections. So this is the worksheet that you're going to be doing today with your story. So we're going to have different sections throughout the story that are going to help us figure out the main idea and the details for each section on this worksheet. And then at the bottom, we're going to be able to write the big main idea for the whole story. Okay, so we're going to start back on this page, and we are going to learn about community departments. And so something else that we need to notice that's really important on this page is that we have what looks like a text feature. Okay, so we've talked a lot about text features also. So this text feature gives us a cool picture, and then it gives us a little caption underneath the picture that tells us something important about a community department. Okay, so let's start reading. More community departments. The Department of Public Works gets rid of garbage and keeps the city clean. Okay, so every city has a Department of Public Works. So like the trash trucks that come by businesses and maybe your houses and pick up your trash. They are a department that is a part of your community. The mayor is in charge of many departments, such as the police department and fire department. So if I watched and you watched Cindy and Rita's video yesterday, they actually went to the fire department and interviewed some of the City of Marion's firemen. So the fire department is a really important department that is a part of a community or a city, and they help us with a lot of different things. So the police department and the fire department are really important, and they help us with a lot of things inside of our city. So they're an important part of our community government. The mayor is usually in charge of the town or city council. Okay, there's another vocabulary word. I'm going to underline that word. And now I'm going to use my context clues. Remember when we talked about context clues? Our context clues is sometimes the sentence that is before or after our vocabulary word that really helps us understand what that vocabulary word means. The council decides how money is spent in the community. It might spend money to build or fix roads, buildings, and parks. It has meetings for people to talk about ideas for the community. Okay, so a community or city council is a group of people who get together and they kind of talk about what is best for the city. So, how they're going to spend money on the city. Are they going to fix certain roads or buildings, or what they're going to do to help the city? So, one of the important decisions that a city council might make is if they are going to redo a park, or if they're going to spend money to fix a park that is in the city. And in Cindy and Rita's video on Monday, they showed you a park in the city of Marion that the city council is choosing to spend money on to fix and open so people can use it. Okay, so the city council is a really important part of the community and city government. Oh, more community departments. Okay, we have another text feature, and we have a caption that explains what this text feature is showing us. So the transportation department keeps the roads clear. When roads are clear, drivers can travel safely. Okay, so we have a transportation department. So they keep roads clean. So like in this picture, sometimes they have like a little sweeper on the bottom of them. They kind of sweep off the roads and maybe get some nails and shards of glass and things like that off the roads to keep them clean. Sometimes we have people who scrape the snow and ice off the roads to help keep the roads clean so we can travel and get to school and work. Okay, so that's another really important community department is the transportation department, because they keep our roads clear and clean so we can get to the places we need to go. Okay. We have an important heading. Okay, so this heading says laws in a community. So if I read that heading, I know that this section of our story is going to mostly be about the laws that are in a community or a city. The mayor and council also work together to make laws. Laws are important. Okay. A community needs laws to keep people safe and keep the community clean. Some laws say how fast cars can go on the roads. Other laws say people must not throw their trash on the ground. Okay, so community laws are very important. Police officers make sure people follow the laws. They also help people who are in trouble. When people break the laws, they may go to court. In court, a judge or a jury decides whether someone broke the law. A judge is the head of the court. A jury is a group of people from the community. The jury listens to both sides and decides whether someone broke the law. Sometimes there is no jury, and the judge decides. If the judge or jury decides that someone broke the law, the judge decides the punishment. Okay, so in every city and community, we have a judge, and he decides if or he hears people who might have broken the law, and then they have a jury. So a jury is, let's see, right here it tells me in my context clue. A jury is a group of people from the community. Okay, so they just decide a group of people from the community who are going to sit in that courtroom and listen to both sides and decide if that person broke the law or if they didn't. So are they guilty or not guilty? And then the judge will help make that decision also. So that is another really big part of our city government and our community government. Oh, so we have our section that was all about laws in the community. Now I see a new bold heading. And this heading says other jobs in the community. So that tells me that this section is going to mostly talk about the other types of jobs that are in our community that are important. So that's going to be the main idea for this section. Other people in the government also help the community. Firefighters put out fires and help people get away from fires. Emergency workers help people who are sick or hurt. They may take people to the hospital. Okay, so now that I've read this section, I understand why Cindy and Rita interviewed those firemen in the city of Marion, because they're really important and they help our community in a really big way. And conclusion. So we have a conclusion. So a conclusion, we know, is kind of like the end. Okay, the very end of the story, kind of what we learned in the whole big story. The community government is important. It makes a difference in the lives of people every day. The government gives people in a community a good and safe place to live. Okay, so a community government, we learned, is really important for us all. Okay, it involves laws and it involves different departments. And it has a group of people called the city council that helps make decisions and helps decide how we're going to spend our money as a city. And we have leaders in our city, like our mayor and a city manager of our city, that helps us decide important decisions for our city also. So a city government is really important and helps our city and our community run smoothly and helps us work together to make our city the best that it can be. People can make a difference in their government too. They can run in an election. They can vote. They can speak at community meetings. They can also offer to help in parks and other places. What can you do to make a difference? Okay, so what are you guys going to do to make a difference in your community in Marion? Okay, are you going to be a volunteer? Or when you get older, are you going to vote for the next mayor in your city? Okay, what are you going to do to make a difference in the city of Marion? And that is the end. Okay, so what we're going to work with next, remember we talked about our main idea worksheet that we were going to work with. So what we're going to do, so you know where to look. So we have our worksheet and it breaks it down into those sections that we talked about, right? Okay, so the first section is city government leaders. So I'm going to go back real quick and let you see that section. Okay, there's our first dark heading. Okay, and that dark heading is one of the ones on your main idea sheet. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to my first video and you're going to listen to me read this section again. And it goes all the way to page page 9. Okay? And you're going to listen to that again. And you're going to tell me what the main idea of that section was and the details. Remember that the main idea is what that section is mostly about. And if we read the heading, City Government Leaders, that kind of helps us know what it's going to be about. Okay, we're going to talk about the leaders in our city government. Okay, and then the details. So the details are the important details in the story that help you know that that is the main idea. Okay, so one of the details in that section, you could talk about a mayor. Okay, that the mayor is the leader of the community. And that helps you know that we are talking about government leaders. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing with the laws in a community section and the other jobs in a community section. Okay, so you're going to tell me the main idea for each section, and you're going to give me at least 3 details. Okay, I need to see 3 details for each section. And then at the very bottom of your page, you're going to write the main idea for the whole story. Okay, so we're talking about the main idea for each small part of the story, just so we can break it down. But then at the end, we're going to talk about the big main idea. Okay, remember the main idea is what the story is mostly about. We don't want to talk about feelings or a lesson because that's central message. We want to talk about the main idea. So what are we mostly talking about in this story? Okay, remember the title can help you with the main idea also. The title kind of tells you what the story is going to be about. Okay, so I want you to copy this worksheet down on a blank piece of paper, and I want you to share a picture of this when you are finished on Google Classroom. Okay? And if you can't get a picture to load to Google Classroom, then you need to post a comment under this video in Google Classroom. Okay? I hope you guys have a great day. I can't wait to see how well you do on this activity, and I will see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, just let me know.